All right, we're continuing on with chapter 4 on cell structure and function. And this slide number 23, is an image of the plasma membrane. So the plasma membrane is primarily a double layer of phospholipids. And phospholipids are these molecules that look kind of like a balloon with two strings, maybe. But anyway, it's a phospholipid bilayer, and then the larger orange molecules are proteins, and they have various functions. So we actually have a chapter devoted to the plasma membrane and transport into and out of the cell. And it's a lot more interesting than it sounds, but the next chapter we'll go into the plasma membrane a little bit more. But it doesn't matter what type of cell, whether it's prokaryotic or eukaryotic, the plasma membrane is a phospholipid bilayer. So you can see here, this is a typical prokaryotic cell with several structures that all prokaryotic cells have, and then some structures that only some have. But we'll start with the covering of the cell, and that would be this kind of light blue structure is the plasma membrane. And then outside of that is the cell wall. In bacteria, that cell wall is composed of peptidoglycan. And then there is a capsule outside the cell wall sometimes, and that capsule can be a gel coating or it can be more of a solid. But regardless, there are three layers. And then on the inside, you have the nucleoid region, which contains the single circular chromosome. It looks like a big wad of spaghetti, but it's actually a single. If you spread it out, it would form into a circular shape. And then there are ribosomes, which are these little dots. These ribosomes make proteins. They synthesize proteins. Let's see, we also have a flagellum, and we have these little bristles that are called fimbriae, and they help the prokaryotic cell to attach to surfaces and to attach to other cells. And then there are these structures called pili, and I don't see them labeled, but this one here and this one, it's called a pilus or pili, and they can help with sometimes. It's not like sexual reproduction, but it is a way for bacteria to transfer DNA from one cell to another. So moving on, the inside of the cell, and this is any type of cell, whether it's prokaryotic or eukaryotic, is called cytoplasm. It is a semi-fluid solution, kind of like a gel. It is surrounded by the plasma membrane. It contains water mostly, but also both types of molecules, inorganic and organic molecules, and enzymes. So enzymes are, remember we learned they're proteins that speed up chemical reactions. The nucleoid is the region that contains the single circular DNA molecule or the single circular chromosome. Sometimes a prokaryotic cell will have an accessory ring of DNA. It's a small ring of DNA called a plasmid, and that will contain extra genes. You may have heard that some bacteria are resistant to antibiotics. They have antibiotic resistance. A lot of times that the gene for that resistance is found in a plasmid. So ribosomes are structures that synthesize proteins. And then we talked about the flagella is for swimming, the fimbriae is for attachment, and conjugation pili are structures that are used to pass DNA from one cell to another. Now we're going to move on and talk about eukaryotic cells. So there are three domains of living things. The first two domains, bacteria and archaea, consist of prokaryotic cells. They're unicellular organisms or single-celled. But the third domain, the eukarya, all the organisms in the domain eukarya are composed of eukaryotic cells. Now, there are some that are unicellular, but many, and most of them, most of the eukarya are multicellular. So eukaryotic cells are going to contain a nucleus that houses the DNA and specialized organelles. And we're going to skip the origin of organelles section. Now, this is something that I should probably blow up. But you will need to learn these structures for sure. You need to learn what they look like inside the cell, and you will need to learn their role and what their job is. So, and this pretty much, I mean, this and the labeled diagram of a plant cell, because this one is an animal cell, a typical animal cell. The two diagrams of the plant and the animal cell are really good slides, like as far as an overview for this whole chapter. So let's look at these structures. First, we have the nucleus. The nucleus is going to be the largest structure. Now, the nucleus is the big purple structure, although there is another spherical structure inside the nucleus that you see here called the nucleolus. But the nucleus itself is the structure that houses the DNA. It is the command center or the control center of the cell. It is surrounded by a nuclear envelope. The nuclear envelope has pores. These purple flowery looking things, these are pores that allow material to leave and enter the nucleus. And then the nucleolus inside the nucleus is the structure that synthesizes ribosomes. And then the ribosomes, as you know, they're the yellow dots you see everywhere. They're either attached to these membranes or they're free in the cytoplasm. But ribosomes synthesize proteins, all kinds of different proteins that the cell needs or that the cell produces for other areas of the body that need it. All right, so we have endoplasmic reticulum next, and the endoplasmic reticulum that is attached to the nucleus is called rough endoplasmic reticulum, or rough ER, and it is dotted with these ribosomes. Ribosomes are attached to the rough ER, and so the rough ER synthesizes proteins. Now, outside of that, you see, and they look a little bit more like bubbles instead of channels, but these brown ones are the smooth ER. They'll be further away from the nucleus. They'll be outside of the rough ER. It'll always be nucleus, rough ER, smooth ER, and then Golgi apparatus. They're kind of lined up that way because they work together like a factory. So the smooth ER is not going to make proteins. It does not have ribosomes attached. So it functions more in synthesizing lipids. I also see a peroxisome, and a peroxisome helps to break down fatty acids. It's called a peroxisome because it produces hydrogen peroxide as a byproduct, which is toxic. So it also has a way of getting rid of the hydrogen peroxide so that it doesn't kill our cells, but its role is to break down fatty acids. Then we have the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell, and this is where cellular respiration occurs. It is where glucose from the food we eat is broken down into energy in the form of ATP. Okay, so mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell. The Golgi apparatus looks like stacks of pita bread or stacks of pancakes, whatever you want to say, but the definition here is good. Golgi apparatus processes, packages, and secretes modified proteins. So if you notice at the end of these stacks, there'll be like these rounded ends on the very, very ends of the Golgi. Those are called vesicles, and what they do is they pinch off. This is one that has already pinched off. This is in the process of pinching off. But they pinch off from the Golgi apparatus, and they'll contain the products, either the protein products from the rough ER or the lipid products from the smooth ER. They'll be inside of these little vesicles, and they'll be transported either inside the cells somewhere, or as you can see what's happening here, they're getting transported and kind of pushed out of the cell. Excuse me. And then we have lysosomes. This is a lysosome, which is a vesicle that has digestive enzymes in it, and it helps to digest large molecules, helps to digest old, worn-out organelles, and its function is digestion. Let's see, we have centrioles, and by the way, lysosomes are only found in animal cells, not plant cells. This structure here is called a centriole. Centrioles, there's always two. There's a pair of centrioles always. The centrioles help in cell division, and plant cells do not have centrioles. They do have structures that help in cell division, but they don't actually have centrioles. So centrioles are only found in animal cells, and lysosomes are only found in animal cells. And then we have the cytoskeleton, which are basically like protein fibers that play different roles, helping the cell maintain its shape, helping to keep the organelles and the different components inside the cell moving, placed where they're supposed to be placed, and then sometimes they have to move to other areas of the cell. So these the cytoskeleton can help with that transport, guiding the different structures where they need to go. Okay, so let's move on to the plant cell, and I'm only going to focus on the differences between the plant and the animal cell. Okay, so let me blow this one up too. One thing about a plant cell that an animal cell does not have, a plant cell has a cell wall outside of the plasma membrane. So let's find the plasma membrane. Plasma membrane, it's blue, here it is. Okay, so here's the plasma membrane on the inside, and then the cell wall is on the outside. The cell wall is composed of, has cellulose, contains cellulose, which is important. We can't digest cellulose, humans can't, but it's important as fiber to help us digest other things, help us in the digestive process. But structures that the plant cell has that animal cells don't have, this large central vacuole that stores water, animal cells don't have that. Chloroplast, animal cells don't have those either. Chloroplast are the structures where photosynthesis occurs. But pretty much everything else, so plant cells have chloroplast, central vacuole, and cell wall. All three of the structures start with a C, so you can remember them that way. But then, other than that, they have everything else that the animal cell has, except a plant cell does not have lysosomes or centrioles. So, those two slides, that would be slide 30 and slide 31, are probably the best two slides, the most important two slides in this whole set, So I would go back and study them. As much as you can. Try to learn the definitions of the cell structures and try to name them even without looking at what their name is, kind of test yourself. So I just highlighted some things here because I recognize them from some of the quiz questions, and the quiz questions end up on the exam, so the midterm and the final. So this is important. Liver cells, which detoxify drugs, have more smooth ER than other cells. So this is letting you know that cells, different cells are specialized to do different jobs, and smooth ER is used in the detoxification process, and that's why liver cells have a lot more smooth ER than other cells do. And then nerve cells, their main job is to carry electrical impulses, have more plasma membrane than other cells do. They have long extensions, and which is mainly plasma membrane with not much inside. Okay, vesicles are just for transport. They're just small little sacs that transport different materials. The nucleus is the command center of the cell, contains chromatin, Instead of being called cytoplasm, the fluid inside the nucleus is called the nucleoplasm. Chromatin is uncondensed DNA, but when the cell is ready to divide, it